My name is Justin Davis. I grew up on a ranch southeast of Burns, Oregon.
What is your experience in working on ranches or feedlots, specifically doing day work or hiring day workers?
So, my experience was a little bit different than most. I grew up on my family's ranch, working for my dad, and then going on to working for myself and hiring day work for me.
What was your first job like working on a ranch or feedlot?
So, as I said, that my first job was working for my parents, but at the age of 18, I moved away from home. I went to college, and then I went to Kentucky and started racehorses and moved to Nevada and worked for a couple different ranches, and then eventually moved back to Oregon, and then came to where I'm at now. I live in New Plymouth, Idaho, and I shoe horses and I day work for a living.
What are some of the skills you would expect someone to have if you were to hire them or do day work, or that you have been expected to have in doing day work?
So I would say that you need to be able to have decent equipment. The thing of it is like when you show up to a job and your horse is not shod and your pickup is falling apart and you're not able to accomplish your task, it is not going to get you hired back.
If you were hired to do day work for someone, what would be your checklist the day before?
So I day work for a living, and most of my stuff I keep in very good working order. If it's my pickup, I make sure my pickup's the oil changes all the time. I keep my oil changed. I keep my pickup fueled up and ready to go. I make sure that I have the right bits for my horses the next day. I make sure that I check the weather as far as where we're going. I call my employers to find out what task we're about to accomplish, whether I can take colts or if I can take, if I have to take a broke horse. I make sure that what we're about to do and what kind of equipment I need for the next day.
What would you say are your top 10 cowboy rules? The things that you got your butt chewed for the most growing up and your biggest pet peeves when hiring someone?
So I wrote down a list, and this is just stuff that I grew up with, and things that they're not just pet peeves. Most of these rules are stuff that will keep people safe. Number one is being prepared and not making people wait for you. And make sure you have your stuff together. And there's if you show up to your job, you need to be able to get out of your pickup and be able to go to work. Be on time, and have your stuff together. Number two is, and this is something that we didn't have when I grew up, but this is a big thing, and it pertains to phones. No phones unless it pertains to your job. If your job requires you to have a phone to where they can get in contact with you, that's one thing. But honestly, leave your phone in the pickup. You guys need to have it. You need to have a plan for your job. And a lot of the places that I go, we don't have cell service anyways. But one of the things I'm going to tell you about the phone thing is I had some guys working for me several years ago, and it could have cost the kid his life. What happened was, I was several miles away, and I could see this from the top of a ridge. I had a kid that was playing on his phone, and another kid that was riding a green colt. And this colt flipped over on the one kid, and he was trapped underneath his horse. And he got his foot jammed through his stirrup, and he had the horse laying over on top of him. And the other kid was only 50 yards away, and never once looked up. He had his hood over his head, and was playing on his phone. And thank God that the horse never jumped up and ran away and drugged this kid to death, because we were a long ways from town. So number three is pay attention, which kind of goes with number two, and be willing to jump in and help those, without being asked. Look around and be able to help people that are struggling, because sometimes you go to places that you may be the handier person horseback. And try to help people. Try to help where, if you can see a wreck about to happen, see if you can jump in and stop that so nobody does get hurt. Number four is this is one of those things that is a pet peeve of mine is riding in front of somebody, especially the cow boss, and then turning your back to cattle. When you turn away from cattle, that you're missing the show. You're missing what's going on, and you're not helping me accomplish my job. Number 5 is something that is something that is a danger to what we're doing, because a lot of times people are riding colts, and a lot of times the cow boss, he's riding a younger horse, is riding off when somebody gets off to get the gate. You stop and wait for the guy to get back on his horse, and then take off and go. Number 6 is staying in your circle, or trying to do somebody else's job when you were asked to do your job. And that's a big thing, because a lot of the places that I cowboy is places that we're a long ways from each other. You may be several miles from each other, and if something was to happen and you end up going and doing somebody else's job, and I had to go back and look for you, I'm gonna go back and look for you where I swear I sent you. And if you weren't there, it would have no idea where to find you, and you may be in a bad way, and so you need to stay in your lane. Number 7 is abusing company equipment or the cattle. And so we're hired, when people hire us, they're expecting us to take care of their equipment and their cattle as if it was our own. And remember that we're there to do a job for them. So do not abuse their equipment or their cattle. Number 8 is loading your horse in front of the cow boss. So you wait for the guy that owns the company or that is running the show for the day. He needs to load his horse first, because he's normally the last person to get out of the trailer and assigning the circles. Number 9, being able to keep your horse and your dogs under control. Some places these days do not allow dogs, but the majority, because of the fact that most people are not able to control them. You need to be able to, understand that a lot of our job is as day workers and stuff is riding colts and everything, but you need to be able to, if you're going to go to a job, at least have some basic handling of your horse and be able to control your dog, keep him out of the way, and so we can accomplish our task. Number 10 is putting things back where you found them, and leaving. Just like we were going to brand calves, if I asked you to go grab some stuff out of the shop, and you need to put that back, so that when I go back to find that piece of equipment, it's there. And leaving gates as if you found them. If my cows can't get back to water because you shut the gate, and I didn't ask you to shut the gate, that's going to cause a problem.
What are the main things you took away from your mentors?
So I was able to grow up with some incredible cattlemen and cattlewomen, and I guess some of the main things I took away from them was be respectful, be on time, and be willing to learn from everything. There's some things you're going to learn, are some of the good things and some of the bad things, and just being able to sit back and listen to what's going on and how to handle things correctly, and being able to adjust yourself to that situation.
What are some things that you would tell an inexperienced person starting out in the equine or ranching industry?
So I would say that, you probably need to, if this is something that interests you, I would think that, it's best to have reliable equipment. I guess that would be the first thing. Get yourself, a reliable horse, a reliable pickup and trailer, and that's going to help you out the most. And be open and willing to listen. There's a lot of these men and women that have been doing this for a very long time, and we're there just to help them. And so you need to be able to be willing to do things their way. You may have good ideas, and you can approach those guys with those ideas, but realize that it's their ranch and it's their deal, and you're there to do a job for them.
What is the main thing that you wish you would have learned earlier?
So, as I said, I grew up on my family's ranch, and we had a job to do, and we raised beef we didn't have a chance to be to do the horsemanship thing. And I wish that that's something that would taken away from some of these incredible people that we had working for us and with us. Was I wish that we would have I'd taken more time to learn from these people, because all we did was we would jump on our horses and we would get cows wherever they needed cows go, and we didn't really understand how to be a better horseman and how to rope well. I wish I would have taken more time to listen to people and it wasn't until I was in my 20s before I really understood how to be a better horseman and be a better cattleman and really listen to people and take better advice from people.
Do you think that there are other benefits to the ranching lifestyle besides a way to pay the bills?
Yes. So this is a big one. Obviously, we're not in this deal to get rich. This is a deal. This is just simply that is a lifestyle. We do this because we love it. We liked working with our horses and our dogs, and we are also involved with some incredible people in the beef industry, and we're able to be a part of something that is not common in this world anymore, and that in itself is worth more to me than money. And it is simply that it's just a lifestyle that is something that I truly hold, how I value and I hold dear to my heart.